Hi, I'm John. This is my show, An American Scheme, where I am proving that Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's actual mother. So, the biggest problem of what I run into is that most of the citizens in America, they don't understand that they're actually slaves. And so, I need, like, it's like, I don't know how to explain to you that, like, when I say you're a slave, like, I mean you're a fucking slave. Not that, like, oh, you go to work, and because you go to work, you're a slave. And it's like, think about the imagery that Hollywood puts out of what a slave is, okay? Hollywood is very smart, and a big part of what they do is intended to deceive you by confusion and by this imagery of what they plant in your head. It's very sophisticated of what is occurring. And when you go through the process of growing up and you're being exposed to all of this intelligence, it's like mind warfare that's being done to you. It's psychological warfare. It's actually, you know, when you're going to the movies, much of what you're seeing, it's actually psychological warfare upon you. And we go and we pay to have ourselves be freaking attacked by them and stuff, and to be under their mind control, and it's crazy. And so it's one of those things, like, for me to explain all this stuff is just so much and stuff, but I just try and give you little pieces to let you know that this is what I'm talking about. So it's as simple as this: if your parents didn't tell you that you're a slave, like you really, if your parents were not informing you that you're a slave, then that means that your parents are slaves and they never really cared about you. They're stupid. First of all, they were not smart enough to actually understand that they're slaves, and then they never did anything to actually care about you enough to stop you from being a slave and to keep your mind open. So there's the people that are the elites, and so the elite people, their parents told them, look it, we're the elites, okay? Those other people, they're slaves, okay? And so if your parents weren't telling you that you're the elites, and they did not inform you that all of those other people are slaves. And now, there's people that, like I said, it's really tricky on how the ways the world work. There's people that, like, they follow Jesus and stuff, right? So these people think, oh, well, you've got to follow Jesus, you know. The only way to get to God is through Jesus, and if you don't believe in Jesus, then you're going to go to hell, like all of those people, right? And it's like, okay, so people might be telling you that kind of message and stuff, but that's not the right message. That message is just another form of slavery, exists in the world of control, of which the elites have put this kind of information for you to absorb and to mislead you and to get you to give up your power. Because just the first thing about, like, Jesus, when you do that, like, you call yourself a sinner. I'm not a sinner. I'm a human being going through the human experience. That don't make me a fucking sinner, you know? I'm not out slaughtering children and shit, you know? I'm not out there, like, praising Satan and saying, oh, Satan, I want to be, like, I want to be great in your world. I want to be accepted by you. Tell me what to do. And then Satan says, go kill that dog. And it's like, okay, I'll go kill that dog. Okay, now that's a sinner. Okay? That's what a sinner would be. I'm not a freaking sinner. People think I'm a sinner because I make mistakes and you do this. It's like fucking ridiculous. That doesn't make me, oh, I'm a sinner because I smoke weed. Oh, I'm such a sinner. I'm so ungodly. That shit's all there just to confuse you. So like I was saying, is in the movies, if you think about the imagery of a slave, you think about black people in chains and being whipped and being lynched and shit, right? That's what they put there for you. It's like, so when you think of what a slave, that's what you think a slave is. So in your world, you're running around doing all the things you do, so you don't relate your experience to being like a slave of what the Hollywood is projected into your mind through their mental warfare, their mind control of what a slave is and shit, right? So a lot of the people in our society, you don't understand that you're a slave because they've tricked you, they fooled you. And so here, I'm going to show you a couple little things here just to relate. So this is the movie The Hunger Games, right? So in The Hunger Games, you have the people living in the districts, okay? But if you were raised in the district, you don't know what the capital is. You don't know what those people are. You know that you're a worker and stuff, but this is your life. This is the world of what you know. So in this world, you wouldn't really understand like what it means to be a slave. You would just understand that this is the world that you live in and stuff, right? So like this is the districts, right? But so then in the Hunger Games, when she goes to the Capitol, you know, and it's like here they're going to say the presidential palace. Then you see the difference.
The presidential palace, the party of the year. Eyes bright, chins up, smiles on. I'm talking to you, Katniss.
You know, so it's a total different world. Eyes bright, smiles up. And so that's the way it is when you live in that fantasy world. That fantasy world where they're all the elites and stuff. Their whole thing is all this imagery because they don't want to think about like the realities of what the negative parts of the world. They don't want to expose that. They want to live in fantasy land. This is Satan's world. They want to believe that everything's good and oh they're not going to die and oh when they die oh why. This is one of the things too. One of the things of like propaganda that they tell you all the time is they say you only live one life. Oh, you only live one life. You better live it to the fullest and shit, right? That's not true. Either you believe that you have a spirit or you don't. Okay? So now all those people with dead souls who have relinquished their spirit over to being Satan worshipers, they don't believe in their spirit anymore. So they're here to live their one life. You know, that's Satan worship talk. You know, it's not like that's not a positive message to tell you that you only live one life. It's like not, because you have a spirit. Your spirit lives on, you know. You either believe that or you don't. But it's through the Jesus stuff that gets you to not live your life. Okay, well you still have to go through your life and experience it. You can't just bow down and be a slave, because that's what Jesus Christ and like Christianity, that's slavery. It's getting you to just be accepting that you're a slave and be the best little slave that you can be, and we'll reward you in your next life. Like I was saying, they've got this shit coming at you from every side, every angle. There's so much confusion. And that's what it's intended to do, is to confuse you, to get you away from your true understanding of who you are, what you are, so that you could go and be in the presence of God so you can then become a god. Okay, it's because those gods are all stronger than Satan. All of them. When you go back into the world of God, you become a god. Okay, every one of those gods is more powerful than Satan. So Satan's not powerful compared to what we are. Even though right now you're weak, you're in a body, you could be tortured, you could be abused, you could be all screwed up. They'll do everything to you. They trick you, they get you to do all this stuff. But that's Satan's trick, because Satan doesn't want you to go back and be who you really are, a god. Because once you go be a god, you're more powerful than Satan. So Satan's whole trick is to get you to not be who you really are. And so now in this movie, there's a thing of what they do in Hollywood, how they get you to think that this is what a slave is. Like, so like before they'd always tell you, oh, the slaves, they're in chains, they're the black people, they're picking cotton, right? That's what they tell you a slave is. This movie, what they do in modern movies, because they take ownership of stuff and they expose people to stuff and it confuses. But still, what they're showing you is that a slave is in a district. Okay, there's a slave in the slave district, right? And then there's the elite people, and they're separate. So in our world, where we intermingle, the slaves intermingle with the elite people, and like you can see like the big cities, you can go over there. So that right there makes you not think that you're a slave. That's like one of these things that's like you can't understand, because this is their trick. The trick of what this is to get you to not believe that you're a slave. That's the whole trick, because if you can't understand that you're a slave, if you can't deal with reality, then you're never going to advance. You'll never advance as who you are as a god. But if you're like all confused and stuff and you can't figure stuff out, well then you're not going to go be a god and stuff. That's the way it works and shit. So then this is the movie The Matrix. So now this right here, like what he's going to explain here, and like right here, it's the same thing about slavery, right? And they get you to, they tell you you're a slave, but then they say that slaves exist in this different world. It's really confusing. This movie is like super intelligent movie. It's really highly intellectual. But just because it's so intellectual, it's like you can't believe everything. And then they are making movies and stuff. And it's really tricky about how this stuff occurs and stuff, right? But this is what I'm going to show you here is because this is what I deal with when I tell people. It's like, oh, well, Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson are Michael Jackson's real parents. And I can easily explain it to you just through the song Billie Jean. The Billie Jean explains everything, right? But because these people are so weak-minded and they're actually slaves, this is the way they react. Because this is how slaves react when they get exposed to the truth.
Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated...
So that's me. And there's the Michael Jackson fans.
Keep us under control.
When I'm explaining to them the truth.
In order to change a human being into this.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop. Let me out. Let me out. I want out.
So that's what happens. The Michael Jackson fans. I tell them, oh, Michael Jackson's real parents are Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson. We were fooled. Michael was never part of the Jackson family, you know. And I can explain it through the songs like Billie Jean. They say, no, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. No, let me out. Here, thumbs down. I'm going to thumb down your video. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm going to tell everybody you're a bad guy. You're a fraud. Bro, no, let me out. Bro. They're freaking slaves. That's exactly how they react. I show them real information, put it right in their face. They can't deal with it. They're fucking, because they're slaves. Like I keep saying, they're slaves. They can't talk about my story because they're slaves. They can't debunk it. They say one thing, no, Michael said this. Oh, so Michael said that, so that debunks all of my hardcore evidence. You know, I'm the only one who's explained the song Billie Jean. None of you guys. Michael didn't tell you. What do you think Michael's going to tell you? Oh, yeah. No, Billie Jean is about me explaining how Diana Ross told me that she was my real mother when I was 10 years old and living in her house. Do you think Michael, like, just the reality, was Michael ever going to say that? No. Well, that's what the song's about. So he never actually told you what the song's actually about. And when I tell you, no, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Let me out of here. Let me out. Freaking slaves, man. So, there's Michael Jackson and his real mother, Diana Ross. Now, you didn't see it this way. And so you have a hard time seeing it. You people have a hard time seeing it. You got all your stupid little lies and all the stupid... Oh no, Michael said he wanted to marry Diana Ross. Yeah, well, he kind of didn't really say it. And it's like, oh yeah, right after when Oprah's calling him a virgin... all this stuff, it's like... And the people they say stuff, it's like, dude, he can't tell you that Diana Ross is his mom. And then they've got this relationship going on between them. And so he can't explain it to you. And so in the moment, weird little things did come out. And because Michael's also trying to uplift Diana Ross. She's a big star. She's the singer of the Supremes. She's one of the most beautiful women in the world. So Michael, he's not going to tell you the truth that Diana Ross is his mom. But he will tell you the truth that, oh, he thinks Diana Ross is beautiful. And he'll say, oh, I had a crush on Diana Ross. Yeah, well... Michael Jackson knew who Diana Ross was, the singer of the Supremes, before he finds out that she's his mother. Isn't it fair to say that Michael actually probably had a crush on Diana Ross? Then, when Diana Ross comes and shows him the attention, you got to remember, Michael's not raised with this woman, so he doesn't have a motherly connection to this woman. It's not like if Catherine Jackson would have started hitting on him and shit, right? He thinks Catherine's his mom. So if Catherine, who's not his mom, if Catherine starts hitting on him, he's going to feel like, what are you doing? You're my mom. That's the way he would feel. But if Diana Ross, the singer from the Supremes, comes and starts showing him all this attention, it's not going to feel the same way. It doesn't feel like his mother. It feels like this star, Diana Ross, is giving me all this attention. And it created this weird personality trait in Michael. And through that, you get some awkward comments of what he says. But that's just like, it's easy explained. I can show all that stuff because there's stuff like people think that Michael had sex with Diana Ross. Okay, so you're going to tell me Michael had sex with this older woman, Diana Ross. Michael's the biggest star in the world. Once you start having sex, it's just like you're addicted. It's a drug. You're going to have more sex. So if he did have sex with Diana Ross, it's fair to say that he would have had sex with other women. But then how come when he has the Oprah interview that Oprah straight out says, "Are you a virgin?" and Michael can't answer the question. And he says, "I'm a gentleman." But then you go look a year later after that when he's marrying Lisa Marie Presley, he's sitting in the room chewing on bubble gum while he's being married. There's no gentleman there. He can't even like kiss her. He can't even touch her. And he's in a little room. How gentlemanlike is that for Michael Jackson to marry Lisa Marie Presley in some little room, a little quiet room, and the whole time he's chewing on bubble gum? There's no gentleman there. There's no aspect of what you would be entitled to call yourself a gentleman. No, he couldn't answer the question that Oprah asked him, "Are you a virgin?" He comes, "Oh, no, well, I'm a gentleman." And people say, "Oh, well, he's a gentleman." No, he didn't answer the question. And the answer is he's a virgin. And he's a virgin because he was damaged by Diana Ross. She was showing him all this attention, and then it caused a problem in him. And you see it, that's the problem. After his encounter with Diana Ross, when he moves in with her, and then she's showing him all this attention, that's when he changes. And then that's why he becomes Peter Pan. And the people, it's like, how does he become Peter Pan? You just ask these people simple questions. How is Michael Jackson, who's part of this large Jackson family, why does he have such this closeness and this identity feeling connected to Peter Pan? It's like your people's story doesn't answer anything. My story actually answers everything. And you just look at them, it's like, that's a mother and son. That's a son and his father. There's Michael and Smokey. That's the father and son. Now this is the lie. Like, look how ugly Joe Jackson is. That's why they'll say, "Oh, well, he looks like Catherine." And it's like, well, because Catherine's a little bit cute, you know. She's got a little bit of cuteness to her. And Michael's good looking. So people identify Michael to saying he looks like Catherine. But that's not true, because if you go into like this picture, if you look like, let's go and zoom in on there a little bit more. Okay, so Jermaine over here, Jermaine looks like Catherine. When you really look, Jermaine actually has the appearance of Catherine and stuff. Okay, Jermaine does not look like Michael. Like, look how ugly, like Marlon. Marlon is ugly. Tito's ugly. Look how ugly Joe Jackson is. But here's Smokey and his son. And if you look at this picture, now just like, it's just a simple thing. Okay, if we were raised our whole life, right? And they were saying that Smokey Robinson was a Jackson. That Smokey Robinson's Michael Jackson's older brother. If they were saying that Smokey Robinson is Joe Jackson's first child, okay? And then they showed us this picture, right? Everybody would say, Smokey's a Jackson. Like, this is like just how easy it is that people don't understand how easy they fooled everybody. Because Michael was raised. He was given away as a baby. As soon as Diana Ross had Michael, as soon as she gave birth, she gave him to the Jackson family. And she had to go back to Detroit. She had to go back to living her life where she's going to roll into Motown as the boss because she's given away her child now. That's like what they say is like when she does her first audition for Berry Gordy, the song she's singing is, "There goes my baby, I want my baby." That's the song. Go look in Berry Gordy's book. That's what he'll tell you. The first song that he heard Diana, first he says he heard her. He didn't even see her. All he heard was somebody singing, "There goes my baby, I want my baby." Okay, so just take it in the context of what I'm saying. Diana Ross gives her child away. She goes for her first audition at Motown, and what's she singing? "There goes my baby, I want my baby." Okay, now after she's given away her child, and she's telling Berry Gordy, I'm here. I'm ready for my record deal. Because don't forget, "There goes my baby, I want my baby." Why is she singing that song? That's the song that she chose to sing. It's like, that shit's not by accident. And it goes over and over. And then as soon as she meets Michael, she starts going on TV and saying, that's my child. There's none of the other Jacksons there. She doesn't have a connection with all the Jack. Like everybody's saying, oh, Janet. Janet's so cute, and Janet's got all this talent. Okay, well, where's her connection? Where's Diana Ross's connection to Janet then? Show me that. It don't exist. Show me Diana Ross's connection to the whole family. It don't exist. There was one kid that she's interested in, and she's sitting there telling everybody, this is my child, that's my son, that's my baby. That's what she's saying the whole time. And then Michael makes the song, Billie Jean, which is actually about Diana Ross. That's what the song's actually about. Diana Ross is Billie Jean. Michael does not say the line, the kid is not my son. Billie Jean says that. Billie Jean says, I am the one, but the kid is not my son. She says all of that. That's Diana Ross when she's telling Michael, you're the one. You're the one that made all this happen. Because I gave you away, then that's how I got my record deal with Motown. And then because you ended up in the Jackson family, that's how the Jacksons became the Jacksons. Like, you're the one that made all this. Without Diana Ross abandoning her child, then Diana Ross she probably doesn't get a record deal because she's raising Michael. She's raising a kid. Her life would be different. That's all there is to it. Maybe Smokey doesn't ever become a star because Smokey now, at that time, if he's got the kid, well, then maybe he would have stayed in school. He would have kept going to college he was going to college for engineering. Well, maybe he stays in college because then maybe Berry Gordy is like, I'm not going to work with you so hard because Berry Gordy's just starting to work with Smokey. He's got a relationship, but he's not into it so deep that where Smokey's going to raise the father at that time, then Berry Gordy could back out. If Berry Gordy backs out with Smokey and doesn't start to build the company, maybe Motown never exists because in the beginning stage, it's called Tamla Records. Motown happens after because Smokey Robinson makes the song Shop Around. My mama told me you better shop around. A pretty girl's come a dime a dozen. You gotta find one who's gonna give you true love. And before you go and say I do, make sure that she's in love with you. Make sure that your love is true. Something like that. I can't remember all the words. My mama told me you better shop around. Okay, Shop Around is the first song, but it's on the Tamla label. It's after Shop Around comes out that they switch it up to Motown. So if Berry Gordy, or if Smokey Robinson doesn't have the experience of getting Diana Ross pregnant and then abandoning their child, he doesn't have to go through that whole experience of like what the song Shop Around is about. And if he doesn't write Shop Around with Berry Gordy, and then that becomes the million seller, that's the first song, the first million selling song is Shop Around. If that doesn't happen, then how does Motown? There's still another stage before they get to Motown. So if this whole thing doesn't happen, maybe Motown never happens. If Smokey says, no, I'm going to go ahead and raise my kid with Diana, and I'm going to get a job, and I'm going to do it like that. Well, then Berry Gordy would have backed out, and he would have, when he was a songwriter, he would have started writing for other people. Well, those people would not have wrote the song Shop Around. They would not have had the experience of abandoning that child. Then Motown never happens. That's why Michael's the one. Not only is he the only child of Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson, because of the fact that they abandoned that child, it spawned all kinds of things to occur. Like literally Motown. There might not have ever been a Motown. So all of the artists and all of the songs that exist on Motown records, there's a chance that none of that would have happened. That's the way the real world is. That's how, and so that's why Michael's the one. But so she says, I'm the one, but the kid is not my son. Because Diana tells Michael, but you're officially a Jackson now. You're a Jackson. You've got to stay a Jackson. That's how the lie becomes the truth. That's how the lie becomes the truth. That's what the Billie Jean's all about. And the lie becomes the truth. The lie becomes the truth. Just like all you people, you think that Michael's a Jackson. Because that's what they wanted you to think. And you can't do it. Just like in the Matrix, when people start telling you the truth, it's like, you're a slave. No, I can't. This can't be the way it is. Let me out of here. Let me out. It's because you're weak-minded slave people. And it's like, I sure as hell wish somebody be telling me I was a slave when I'm a slave. I'm sure as hell would be like happy as fuck that there's somebody out there telling me, hey, dude, you're a slave. You need to start thinking, looking at things in a different way because you've been misled. What you're doing, what you living, the life you're living is wrong, and it's only you're following in the ways of the world of what Satan has set forth for you. All your life is a total failure. It's like, shit, I sure as hell wish somebody would have told me a little bit different so I could have not been a freaking Satan worshiper and a Satan follower and shit. Maybe I could fucking have some control of my life so I could freaking be who I'm supposed to be. But all you people, it's like what I say, it's like your parents don't care about you. Your parents, like if your parents are telling you, oh, worship Jesus and shit, it's like they don't care about you. Because they turned you into a slave. They're calling you a sinner. They're saying you're nothing without Jesus. Oh, Jesus is something. You're nothing. That's like the worst thing a parent could tell you is that you're nothing. And that's what all the Christian people do. They tell you you're nothing. That's why in YouTube and stuff, they protect like religious freedom. They don't want me talking shit about people's religion. Yeah, because they're promoting Satan's agenda. They don't want you to be freed from all this fucking, the witchcraft of what they put there for you to get you to follow into slavery. So it's just like, ask a simple question, like, just think, like, the way that Michael was raised at Jackson. Okay, well, if Smokey Robinson, your whole life, if they had told you that Smokey Robinson was a Jackson, and then they're like, here's the family photo. You're going to sit there and tell me that you wouldn't be saying that Smokey Robinson's a Jackson and that they all look alike? That's what you guys keep saying. Oh, they all look alike. You'd be like, look at Marlon. Marlon looks just like Smokey. This is like what you'd be saying. Of course they're brothers. And, you know, oh, then you'd be saying, oh, look at Michael and Smokey. They sing just alike. Of course they're brothers. It's like, dude, they set you up. They lied to you. Like Michael told you, the lie becomes the truth. It's ridiculous. Look at the real. Stop looking at your stupid petty little, oh, this little thing and this little thing. You got to look at shit. Look at real evidence and actually ask questions about, well, what did they actually say? And is there any evidence that contradicts that? And does that evidence of what they said, is that when you look at their real life, does that match up and stuff? It's like, hell no, it does not. Nothing matches up with Michael Jackson's life. Because look at it, he ended up as Peter Pan. How does this kid from this big family end up calling himself Peter Pan? It's ridiculous. And in the Oprah interview, when he's like, he's got to be at least 30 years old at that time, she asks him, are you a virgin? And Mike, oh, I can't answer. I'm a gentleman. I'm a gentleman. I mean, come on. He's definitely not a gentleman, because you just go look at the video of him marrying Lisa Marie Presley. Go watch that video. You're going to tell me that justifies a man who would call himself a gentleman? Marrying Elvis's granddaughter, and they're big stars, but go look at the wedding. So that's the thing I said. If you think Michael Jackson's a gentleman, if you think that was a quality enough answer to get you not to see the truth that he's a virgin, okay, well, go look at the wedding between him and Lisa Marie, and you justify to me how that's a guy that qualifies to be labeled as a gentleman. Oh, I'm a gentleman. Oh, chewing on gum. Is there any man that's like a gentleman? A gentleman who, that means he respects women. And here he is getting married to Lisa Marie Presley, so he's supposed to be in love with her. So this gentleman who's supposed to be in love with this woman is getting married in this little office space. He can't even look at her. He can't even look at her. And he's chewing on gum. So there goes he's a gentleman bullshit. But now look at that. And let's look at, because that was the gentleman question that Oprah asked him, are you a virgin? She said, are you a virgin? The answer he gives is a gentleman. Okay, so you go look at that wedding of him and Lisa Marie Presley. He's definitely not a gentleman. That's a lie. But let's look at the original question, are you a virgin? Now go look at that video between Michael and Lisa Marie Presley and tell me if that appears to be a guy that could be a virgin. Oh, hell yeah. Sure hell looks like a virgin to me. You know? It's simple. Go look at the facts. But you people can't look at facts because you're like Neo. No, I don't want to believe it. No, let me out. As soon as you start to see it and your brain starts to actually have to think and stuff. No, I don't want to think. I want to be a slave. No, all I got to do is bow down and call myself a sinner and worship Jesus, and I'm going to go to heaven. That's all you people. And then you're so dirtball and scumbag that you're going to get married, you're going to have children, and you're going to force them into the same slave world of which you were raised in, where you got no brain and you're afraid to look at any truth and stuff, and then you're going to tell your kids, you've got to be this way too. You people are disgusting. You're disgusting.